Hey there, everyone. I'm meteorologist Cassie Nall, and this is your 10 Weather Impact Recap for the week. Let's start with a look at your top weather stories from around the country. In South Carolina, a woman has been charged in connection to setting the wildfire that has been burning in the Carolina forest since last week. That fire, located inland from Myrtle Beach, grew quickly and burned 2,000 acres in the dry and breezy conditions, forcing hundreds of people to evacuate their homes. Ashley Listrom talked to the neighbors who were impacted by the fire.
I feel sorry for her, but I'm glad that she's going to be held responsible.
She deserves to have consequences for her actions.
Frustration and relief mounting tonight after BLOSO allegedly started a fire Saturday in this backyard fire pit. Those that watched the fire grow tell me BLOSO appeared to be in shock as the flames jumped into the tree line, causing panic and forcing people to evacuate.
Her face was, it's like the blood had rushed out of her face, and she knew she had messed up.
It was terrifying to see, thinking when you're leaving that the neighborhood is going to be gone.
It's important to note that Horry County and the state of South Carolina were under a burn ban that day. The South Carolina Forestry Commission says BLOSO did not have an appropriate water source readily available or any garden tools on hand to control the fire.
I really feel sorry for the lady. It's, I'm sure she didn't intend for any of this to happen, but I don't excuse her for being so negligent.
The agency says the fire then spread to land owned by Walker Woods HOA and has burned now over 2,000 acres. Many are now pushing for stricter laws, saying this can't happen again.
This is taking a toll on families, on pocketbooks, on houses, on emotions, on firefighters.
Whatever she's going to face, she's going to have to deal with that.
Last week on March 4th and 5th, numerous brush fires developed across East Tennessee. Wind gusts close to 100 miles per hour in the mountains and up to 60 miles per hour in the lower elevations fanned those flames, forcing people in multiple communities to evacuate their homes. Thankfully, there were no major injuries and only one home was lost in Monroe County. We had some much needed rain on the 5th, but here we are again this week talking about an elevated fire danger. So why is this happening? Well, first, we have drought conditions all across East Tennessee, and it should be noted that we have two fire seasons in this part of the country, one in the fall and another in the spring from February 15th to May 15th. We had heavy rain and flooding in February, but that wet pattern only lasted for about a week. And that was a month ago at this point, and we haven't had much rain since. Extremely dry air has kept the humidity levels very low since we've moved into the month of March, and that has sucked the moisture right out of the soil and the vegetation, as the plants are needing more moisture than before as they leaf out and bloom. Now, by the averages, winter is our wettest season of the year, and we finished about 1.5 inches below normal. March is typically our third wettest month of the year, but by the time our next chance for rain arrives this weekend, we'll have a deficit of almost 2 inches for the month and about 4 inches since the beginning of the year. We'll talk more about this weekend's forecast coming up in a little bit. Check out this video of National Weather Service employee in Fort Worth, Texas. One of the lesser-known challenges that NWS folks face is launching weather balloons during 50-mile-per-hour wind gusts. That small box that you see attached to the end of the long string is called a radiosonde. It sends back atmospheric data that is used to support weather modeling and forecasts. The National Weather Service launches these balloons twice daily from 100 upper air sites throughout the United States and the Caribbean. Unfortunately, some of these offices are having to suspend their balloon launches due to the lack of staffing, and this could have serious impacts on the accuracy of weather forecasts, especially during significant weather events. The Trump administration is laying off federal workers across different agencies, including meteorologists with the National Weather Service and the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, commonly known as NOAA. Just about any agency that you can think of that provides weather information to the public, the National Hurricane Center, the Storm Prediction Center, the Climate Prediction Center, Tsunami Warning Center, all of those fall under NOAA. The National Weather Service provides daily weather forecasts, maintains a countrywide network of radars, and issues warnings during impactful weather events, reaching 96% of American households. We spoke to Kelsey Ellis, an associate professor for the climate and community resilience at the University of Tennessee, about how these cuts are impacting our partners at the Weather Service.
So as we see cuts in broader NOAA and also the National Weather Service, we are going to slow down our ability to better forecast the weather, to protect people during severe weather.
Ellis tells us her friends at the National Weather Service say the layoffs are impacting their mental health, especially for those who are having to do more work with less resources.
But they're watching their friends across this industry be fired, and then their friends that are still there really struggle with operating in an office that's understaffed, and it's really hard and scary to think about the downstream effects on how this will affect people.
A spokesperson from NOAA told us that the agency is still, quote, dedicated to its mission and will continue to provide weather information, forecasts, and warnings pursuant to our public safety mission. In Asheville, North Carolina, the craft beer scene is working to regain what it lost after Helene. Sarah Oppman gives us an update on how the brewery business is recovering almost 6 months after the storm rocked the region.
Patience is a virtue, as they say.
Nearly 6 months after Helene, businesses are still fighting to recover from the devastating floods that forced many to close their doors.
Asheville's craft beer industry is in the recovery phase. We are definitely hanging on by a thread.
Karis Roberts, executive director of the Asheville Brewers Alliance, says the industry's biggest struggle is the lack of tourism.
Very, very scary for our industry, and we are in dire need of tourism to come back.
With no clean water supply for 54 days, many breweries faced financial burdens that continue today.
And even the larger breweries had the capacity and funds to maybe have their own logistics to tanker in water, but they still had to pay extreme costs for water.
While 10 breweries in Asheville remain closed, Roberts says none have given up.
There's not a single brewery off the top of my head that I can think of that is stated we are permanently closing and we're giving up on this. So again, I think there's just a lot of hope.
Now the industry is relying on tourism and government support to help fuel its recovery.
It's going to take a lot of influx of not only cold hard cash by way of funding from our government, but also folks coming by way of tourism.
With one lane back open on Interstate 40, businesses in Asheville hope this could bring tourism back to the Blue Ridge Mountains. In Cocke County, a new grassroots group is looking to help Hurricane Helene survivors. Maria Guzman spoke to neighbors stepping in to help rebuild the community.
Because even when we get people back into their homes, they have suffered so much trauma.
Cocke County business owner Michelle Lane is one of several community leaders part of the county's long-term recovery group.
And we wanted to make sure that no one family received more or no one family was left out.
The grassroots nonprofit helps disaster survivors rebuild their homes and lives. Members help neighbors connect to direct resources.
6 months later, we still have so many families in recreational vehicle campers.
The long-term recovery group is made up of people with different skill sets. John Reese is an attorney serving as a board member.
A lot of needs are that they don't know what to do. They just don't know where to go, what to do. They're going here, they're going there.
It consists of several committees focusing on specific needs.
A one-stop shop of the many needs they have. We can refer them to somebody.
Mental health is one problem top of mind for community leaders. The group plans to provide case managers for neighbors.
There's still the trauma that they've experienced. So
advocates will also help local rafting and farming businesses affected by the floods.
It was unbelievable to me that there could be a hurricane or floods in eastern Tennessee in the foothills or in the mountains. And so it just called to me that I need to do something. So I did.
Cocke County's long-term recovery group is looking for volunteers, and you don't have to live in the county to get involved. They're looking for all skills and backgrounds, and we have all that information for how you can help on our website, WBIR.com. This week marks 32 years since the blizzard of '93 buried East Tennessee in snow. Over a 3-day period from March 12th through the 14th, Knoxville measured 15.1 inches of snow, paralyzing travel across the region. The storm of the century created blizzard conditions across the southern Appalachian Mountains and dumped an astonishing 60 inches of snow on the LeConte Lodge. That is 5 feet. It's as tall as me. The heavy snow also knocked out power across the region, and many people needed to be rescued after being stranded during the winter storm. And thankfully, we don't have any snow in the forecast at the moment, but we are hoping the weather will cooperate for the total lunar eclipse coming to our skies this week. The Earth will cast a shadow across the surface of the full worm moon overnight Thursday night, the 13th, into the 14th. Now, you won't need any special equipment to protect your eyes like you do during a solar eclipse. The moon will gradually darken with a rusty reddish hue as it enters the Earth's shadow, giving it the nickname the blood moon. Now, beginning at 1:09 a.m. Eastern time, you'll start to notice a bite out of the moon as it begins to enter the Earth's shadow. That's a partial eclipse. Totality, when it's completely in the Earth's shadow, will occur from 2:26 a.m. to 3:31 a.m. That's when you'll really notice that reddish hue of the blood moon on full display. And after 3:31 a.m., the bite will appear again as the moon's disk moves out of the Earth's shadow. Now let's get a look at that 7-day forecast and see how things are shaping up as we get closer to that total lunar eclipse. We do have a chance for some spotty showers through the day on Thursday, overnight, maybe into early on Friday. There will be clouds in our skies, but there's also going to be breaks at times. And some models actually keep a lot of that down to the south, especially overnight Thursday night into Friday. So you do have a chance to check out that total lunar eclipse. Now, looking ahead into Saturday and Sunday, we do have weather impact alerts for the entire day Saturday and the first half of the day on Sunday. We have the chance for strong to severe storms. We expect to have very strong gusty winds, and flash flooding will be a concern from very heavy rainfall. We also have more details about that on WBIR.com, and you'll want to be checking back for updates. Once that system moves through, it looks like we'll have quieter weather as we move into our St. Patrick's Day on Monday. Thank you so much for watching. And remember, you can always get the very latest with your forecast with the 10 News app. It's free to download in the App Store.